Absolutely. And by default, everyone, right? Because everyone is somewhere in everywhere. And everything is somewhere in everywhere. Absolutely. Everything, everyone, everywhere, God has access. That's what omnipresence means. Okay? Eternality. God's eternality is the word that's used to describe not His perfection in being limitless in spatially access, but His perfection in being limitless in respect to time. So when we think of how our day runs, how the clock spins around on the wheel, on its little axis, thank you. We exist moment to moment, right? We exist dependent upon the moment that just passed us by. God does not exist like this. God has no limitations. He has no restrictions. He has nothing encumbering Him with respect to time.
So then, that's the time. We have a time limit to be here?
Pardon me?
Everybody's time is limited. Well, how long is supposed to be here?
Absolutely.
When that time comes, you can't do nothing about it?
Nothing you can do about it. No, your time that you have here, the food that we enjoy right now, the fellowship that we enjoy right now, we enjoy it right now only at the expense of yesterday. Right? You can't go back and enjoy what yesterday offered. You only have now. And furthermore, you have a past. And you have a future. Does God have past and future? No, there is no past for God. There is no future for God. When I think of Micah being a little baby, when we would cradle him and rock him, that time, that enjoyment is gone. Forever gone from me. Not so with God. God has no restrictions, no limitations placed on that clock that's continually ticking forward for us. This is what we mean when we say eternality. Rose.
So, leave young people alone. Anybody, you just go ahead, you just get in an accident and you kill. That's your time?
Is that your time?
Yeah, or that's an accident that you just happened to be.
Let me see here. You're asking a little bit more of a question regarding the providence of God or God's sovereignty over our lives than necessarily our restriction by time. I mean, absolutely, it's their time. There's no question, when you die, that is the last tick of the clock for you.
I realize that.
Yeah.
That's not asking for you, but is it, when you were promised this law and tense, and if you be strong, you can go beyond?
That's a different question. That's off the topic from what we're talking about eternality. That would be a question for do we have the ability to supersede God's plan? Does God have a plan for your life that said you're going to live to the end of this week and somehow you die tonight? Was there a way that you could have changed that? Was there something that you could have done in there? That's a little bit of a different discussion. Actually a little bit of a philosophical question. Deterministic is the phrase that we would attach to that. Do you have the ability to make decisions and choose and make choices, or is God the one who has already planned and purposed everything out that's going to happen? Okay, we're going off topic a little bit here, but here's where I want to end this conversation. And let me just say this. Regardless of what you believe, if you believe I have the full ability to choose my destiny within the sovereignty of God, or if you believe that God has purposely set forth the minutia of each little thing that I'm going to do and say, whether you hold one view or the other, both actually fall within orthodoxy. So you could hold either view. I'll tell you my view, and then we'll move on. What do you think my view is? Yeah, I believe that both are true. I believe that God has sovereignly orchestrated every event in my life, and I believe that I fully, completely choose each and every event in my life.
There's no way I don't believe God is going to say, okay, Althea, I'm creating Althea to go to hell. I'm creating Rishan to go to heaven. Wait a minute. He give us all a free will
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. You're talking next class, soteriology. Be there. We're gonna talk about free will then. Okay, here is a metaphor or an illustration by which I want to give you to understand the nature of God within omnipresence and eternality. Does everybody understand these so far? No limitations with respect to space, no limitations with respect to time. God is perfect. Remember how we began? He is perfect in His ability to have access in space and to have access in time. The metaphor that's commonly used is that of a book. As God being the author of the book. And this is where space and time exists. And you and I, we exist on the pages. Our lives are written here on the pages. And as you turn one page, as the day passes and you turn one, you can't go back again. You can't turn the page back again and read what was there. You only read what's happening. And God, being the author, wrote Himself into the book, into the person of Jesus Christ. He wrote Himself in here, into time and into space. Now, we're going to talk about Christology on Monday and Tuesday. But the concept that time and space for us is a book and God is the author, that's actually a very helpful metaphor to understand omnipresence and eternality. Any questions? All right, let's continue on. Omniscience. Look with me again in Psalm 139. This time we're going to begin at the beginning. Verse 1, O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit. You know when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You're familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely. O Lord, you hem me in behind and before. You've laid your hand upon me. And then the phrase which has been sort of the trumpet for this whole class. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. Omniscience. What does omniscience mean? What's that? All right, that's actually not correct. It's awesome, but that's not what it means. Okay. Okay, are you looking in your manual here? Does anyone find that? What page are we on? Page 55. You'll see that I got the bold numbers here. We'll clue you in on where to find this in your manual. Page 55. If you're there, let's read it. It says, God knows and understands all things, events, people past, present, future, possible or potential that have been, are now, will be, might be, or could have been. I actually really like that definition. One, a little bit more of a technical sense, would say that the characteristic of God's omniscience says that He is perfect in respect to knowledge. Because God knows, even if it could have been different, God knows every possible prediction, every possible nuance, every possible opportunity that could have been. Not even what is, He knows everything. That is a bit of an extreme definition of omniscience. One of a more technical